Hi, guys. Welcome to Threads Podcast, Life Unfiltered. Thank you so much for joining us whenever you're listening to this. This is a space for unfiltered dialogue about faith, mental health, and uncomfortable conversations.
That's all you're leaving?
Hey!
You're just reading it?
No!
Ron Burgundy himself.
No! You wrote it. I read it.
You Ron Burgundy that.
I
It was
did.
supposed to be a guide.
It doesn't say guide.
Anyways, we are glad to be back after a week off. Thank you for understanding. I did just about die. I didn't really just about die, but
According to Whoop, you were at 1%.
I was at 1%, and there's nothing below that. Zero is
There's
your
no
hard
half.
stop. So, anyways, it's a special episode. We have somebody on just about a year after they were on last. He is a thready. He's a friend. He's a fellow runner, and he's the host of the Re-Choice podcast.
You just read what you wrote.
His name
he just read
is Joseph Pellerito. So welcome, Joseph, to this crap show that we've already started.
This is I literally just walked in the door. We just start talking. It's pretty cool.
Yep.
I like to say I'm a thread head though, not a thready.
Told you he said that the last time you were on. I actually listened back and I was like, no, we're threadies, not threadheads. But no,
it's all good.
That's a great throwback.
I can go
to
with
the Grateful Dead.
thready vetter.
Ready?
No,
You're trying to keep it at music, aren't you? Deadhead, like from the
Sure.
Grateful Dead. I love it.
So Joseph, I'm gonna call you Joe.
Please call me Joe.
Joe. So can you give like a 30-second elevator pitch of who you are for those who don't know you?
Sure. All right. I'm a husband to Judy for the last 22 years
Woo-woo.
and father to Danny. Danny will be a senior next year, so we're going through that right now. I work with an organization called Capturing Kids' Hearts. We do a lot of work with schools across the country. They call me a leadership development strategist.
Ooh,
damn, that's a big title.
How about a culture coach or a teacher? And that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm a podcaster, thanks to you guys.
Oh.
Thanks, Jason. Yeah.
I got you hooked.
Yes, you did. Of the Re-Choice podcast. That's RECH, Re-Choice. And let's see, some things I like to do for fun is I like to get outside. So run, bike, swim, play some Frisbee golf. So there's 30-second pitch. How's that?
31 seconds exactly. No, I'm just messing.
I know.
Strava is full of all of your different things that you're doing. So,
Yes, thanks for what do they call them? Kudos. Thanks for the
Yes,
kudos.
the kudos.
I appreciate that.
which is really everyone just trying to make sure that they're not getting sued, so they can't do likes anymore. I bet
Probably.
Facebook has a market.
You
on
think
likes.
so?
Yeah, I bet that's why they call it kudos. Like, hey, we can't say like, so
You know what? You're probably right. I don't know any other platform that you could say like or hits a like button, but
yeah. And speaking of your podcast, there
Sure.
was a really awesome guest on like
There
a couple
was.
times ago.
Yes.
So like people
Yeah.
really should check that one out. Like
I
it's
believe it was episode 91.
sure.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome.
With a guy named Mike Vandry.
Who
he's
is
a-
that?
He's a douche canoe.
Bleep that out.
No, that's not
Oh,
bad.
Come on.
No, for real. That was a great episode right before you left for Israel. And
Yeah.
I know we discussed rucking and getting outside.
Yes.
Really, just
Yep.
transformation.
Yep.
So
Similar things to you. So we want to start with a little bit of a game.
Ooh, all
Jason, I kind of like to make Jason go against guest. And so we're going to do riddles this season. This is the season of riddles. So hopefully you are all up on your riddles. So
all right. A riddle, huh?
riddle me this is what the segment
I'm
will
gonna
be called.
struggle. I'm gonna tell you right now.
So we're keeping score. I don't know what the winner gets, but
it's never house rules here. It's always guest rules.
the
I'll
guest
say
are-
the winner is the first to open their fortune cookie.
Ooh,
later.
There we go.
All
There
right,
you go.
there we go.
So I'm going to say a riddle. Do you ask a riddle? Do you say a riddle?
You tell a riddle.
You
It's
riddle
like
a riddle?
It's like a story. It's
So
like a-
anyways,
then we buzz in.
how-
or-
Yeah, you buzz in with your name,
Okay.
and then you answer from there. And I will stop as soon as somebody buzzes in. So,
okay. All right.
are we ready, gentlemen?
Let's
Yeah.
do it.
Okay. What time is it when an elephant sits on a fence?
Jason, time to get a new fence.
Boom! Jason gets one.
Well done. Well done.
I'm gonna turn this to make sure
That was
he's
my
not
elephant
watching.
sound.
I don't have. I was looking for a sounder. I don't have. I only have this one.
Oh yeah, you were
Ooh.
supposed to put them over here. Anyways,
New effects. All right.
what gets wet while drying? What gets wet while drying?
You can hit the button.
Yeah, I don't know.
The button. I want to hear the button.
You want to hear it?
Yeah. A towel. It gets wet while drying because drying people, it gets wet.
Oh,
man.
I was
I should've-
thinking clothes in the
I
dryer
actually
somehow.
thought of a towel, but it didn't make sense to me.
Oh,
But oh well,
Okay,
doesn't matter.
Next question. What can you hold in your right hand but never in your left hand? What can you hold in your right
Joe,
hand?
a left-handed glove.
Nope.
All right.
say it again.
What can you hold in your right hand but never in your left hand?
Your left hand.
Your left hand. Boom.
I thought that's what it was, but
That
you
was pretty
busted.
good.
You were
quick.
so close.
I was
like,
getting there.
I was almost going to give it to you, but then Jason gets mad when I guess random ones. What can you catch but never throw? What can you catch?
Joe, a cold.
Boom.
Damn it! I knew it. I knew that one too.
I saw you were right behind me.
I
could see it.
was.
Okay, next one. What has one eye but can't see?
I know.
Jason,
I've
my
heard.
brown eye.
Nope.
I know. I've heard this too.
What has one
Dang it.
eye but can't see?
Joe, the letter I,
A needle.
a needle. Oh.
Okay, ready? What are two things that you can never eat for breakfast? What are two things you can never eat
Joe.
for breakfast?
Lunch and dinner.
Boom.
These are like riddle/dad jokes.
I know.
Yeah,
That's
that-
why I like them.
Those are the ones I'm getting, are the dad jokes.
Okay. Before Mount Everest was discovered, what was the highest mountain in the world?
Joe, Mount Everest.
Yep. It just wasn't discovered yet.
I'm going downhill real quick.
I only got you by one right now.
Yes.
What has a bottom at the top? What has a bottom at the top? Oh, this is good. I like this one. 3, 2, 1. Your legs.
All right.
Oh wow, that's a
Okay.
deep one.
All right.
How far can you walk into the woods?
Jason, as far as you want.
Mm-mm. How far can you walk into the woods?
Joe, not far because you'll hit a tree.
Halfway. After that, you're walking out. Oh, that's some deep stuff. I
If
found
you
in
can
it.
walk into the woods, right?
Yeah.
All right, now.
Okay,
That's-
next one. What is red and smells like blue paint? What is red and smells like blue paint? You guys are gonna be so mad at yourself.
Yeah, I'm sure.
3, 2, 1. Red paint. Because it's red and it smells like blue paint because it's paint.
That's true.
Stretch.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, we're getting close. It's been a while since the score, but we're ready. I have cities, but no houses. I have mountains, but no trees. I have water, but no fish. What am I?
You're going to have to repeat it.
I have cities, but no houses. I have mountains, but no trees. I have water, but no fish. What am I?
Jason, a globe?
Nope.
That's pretty good.
That was something close. That
I'm going to say, Joe, a map.
Boom.
damn it! Come on, that's come on.
I think,
what?
I think
You know
yours
what?
is like.
You know
I
what?
think yours is better, actually.
You both get a point.
Like that really does anything.
Okay. So we got
I
two
thought-
more.
I
Plus
wouldn't
a
have
bonus.
got it unless you said.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have.
that's
had
the
it.
Sorry.
advantage of holding off sometimes.
The person who makes it has no need of it. The person who buys it has no use for it. The person who uses it can neither see nor feel it. What is it? The person who makes it has no need of it. The person who buys it has no use for it. The person who uses it can neither see it nor feel it. What is it?
No idea. I was thinking it was like oxygen, but then you said buy something, so that's definitely not it. No idea.
A coffin.
Which you're
And
gonna
he's
about head
coughing.
to.
You were coughing.
That's exactly it.
I should get a half point. Oh, that was, well done.
Well
done.
played. He's been waiting to use those
Yeah.
forever.
Right.
Okay, what belongs to you but everyone else uses it? What belongs to you but everyone else uses it? Come on. Jason, this is your last chance.
I have no idea.
Jason, this is your last chance.
Okay, thanks.
Jason, this is your last chance.
What
Okay.
belongs to you?
Is it oxygen?
No, I'm giving you hints.
A chance?
Jason,
What?
this is your last chance.
Okay, great. I don't get it. I'm stupid.
Do you got it?
I was gonna say a chance. I don't know.
Okay, your name.
What was the riddle?
Everyone uses it,
What
but it belongs to you.
It belongs to you, but everyone else uses it. Like it's your name, but everyone uses it. Jason Gerald. Okay,
It's another stretch.
Yeah.
okay. Here's one last one now, because now this could lead to a tie, and that was my tie. This is my
Well, you
tiebreaker.
might
So
have to Google.
Okay.
take one out and scratch my head. I am now black, but once was red. What am I? Take one.
Jason, a match?
Boom.
Damn. Wow.
So I think you have to rock paper scissors this one for the win.
Why, we tied?
Yeah,
We're
you're tied.
3-3, I think.
4-4.
Or
Boy, he gave
4-4.
us pity points.
Okay. Otherwise, I will look up riddles real
No,
quick.
I'll tell you what. I'm gonna give it to Jason because map should have been yours.
Well, he did give us one.
Oh,
You're taking yours away
I'm
from
taking
that?
I would not have had it if I hadn't.
Yeah, and he kind of gave it away with his like. He always does that. Every time we play trivia, he's like, close.
I'm gonna
and
say
said-
the home team wins on that one.
Man, Jason finally has a victory. Too bad you don't have a button for that. Do you have a button for your victory?
Yeah, this one.
I will send you to Jesus.
You're gonna send Joe to Jesus. I don't want to keep calling you Joseph. I've never called you Joseph.
Oh, I know. I have this one too. We should have used.
That is really what it should be. Okay, so Joe, you were on the show about a year ago,
Something like that.
and I actually listened back to it, and I actually remember where I first listened to it. I was in Florida on spring break when I first listened to it the first time. So anyways, I actually listened back. I was rucking, believe it or not, and I listened back, and so I wanted to kind of hear what you talked about last time. I wasn't sure what we're going to have you on for. We just thought, hey, it'd be cool to have Joe on.
Well, the first question is, what do you think about the Ben breakup? No, I'm just kidding. Don't answer.
That's true. That was you guys were both on that. Yep.
Well, I thought of it because you
Well,
were talking about the old
and Jason and Ben, you were on my podcast as well.
Early on.
way back. So,
Way back when it was new.
yes.
So anyways, I wasn't sure what we're going to talk about. We just decided, hey, it'd be cool to have you on. And I was really captured by your faith journey. I know we don't like to use journey on this show,
his pivot.
but also we'll
Journey's
circle
good.
back to that. We'll circle back to that. So you talked about that, and I was encaptured by that, and I thought, those listeners who didn't listen then, can you just give us like an overall view of your faith journey, like starting in
Sure.
childhood, going to adulthood, and we'll kind of
I'll
it
try
from there.
not to go into as much detail as I did before, but
Well,
just to,
what I think we'll do is we'll drop the link from the previous episode in the show notes so that if they
Yes.
wanted to listen to that, just to kind of get a
sure
deeper view.
yeah.
And in short, in childhood, I did not grow up in a real spiritual household, for sure. Though I found out later I was baptized Catholic.
That doesn't count anyways.
But I don't remember that, right?
Yeah.
But we, in no way did we really grow up in a spiritual household. However, I had a lot of friends, so I was hopping around with wherever my friends were going.
Like
and-
for youth groups and stuff.
Correct.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
that's super popular to do that.
Yep. And I was even in a Catholic church choir because my friends were there, so I hopped around quite a bit. So did I ever really believe in that? Probably not in high school anyway. Towards the end of high school, I remember thinking I must not be getting something. I must not be understanding because all my friends do. Right.
Yeah.
So I remember like trying, but as I got into college and then especially when I was married and, you do the whole premarital counseling stuff.
Yeah.
And then when we adopt my son through Bethany Christian Services,
Oh man, you
well,
heathen.
gosh, I better go to church. So
Yeah.
that's fast forwarding a lot there. I have been to a lot of churches, but then around 2014, 15, I was just internally thinking, I'm not really getting this. I've tried it. I've tried seriously to get it, but I don't. But I still kept really hidden about that and quiet until maybe about 2018. I let some, closer friends know what I was thinking. And then really, I think my podcast, that episode that you had listened to originally,
Yeah.
was probably in a way coming out of the closet of, hey, this is what I'm thinking.
Why did you hide it though? Did you have other family? Now, mind you, Mike did prep like a good boy. I did not re-listen to that old episode.
Oh, yeah,
so
no
we
problem.
may have
Yeah.
talked about it, but why did you decide that you had to keep it a secret? Oh, I mean, a secret in quotes, y'all. But
well, when a lot of your friendships have a lot of people who are very spiritual, right? Or when your work setting has a lot of people that are spiritual, you're not sure how people are if they're gonna accept that or not. I don't even know how to say it. There's kind of like a Christian privilege. Do you know what I mean? Like people can say all the time that they're Christian, they can post stuff, but if you disagree with it, you can't.
Which is so
odd. You're not. I mean, you can,
yeah.
But then you're seen as disrespectful, and that's one of those lines that I'm trying to figure out is how can you speak the truth and challenge in a way that's still respectful, and it's just easier than the path of least resistance is to not say anything.
Well, it's
right?
like with politics too. It's
Right.
the same thing.
Exactly.
I tell people sometimes I walk in, I'm like, yeah, I don't want to talk about any politics because we disagree. I already know that going in, and I just say it right off the bat because I don't want this path of least resistance.
Yeah. Well, and I'm one thing that's changed, I think, over the last year or so is that I'm getting more comfortable with just not fretting so much about it, I guess. And just, if people want to ask, they can, but I'm not going to make a big deal out of it.
Yeah. So when I listen back, because I actually did my work, Jason. No, I'm just going to say. So I remember you talking about there were moments of good or moments of like where you're like, hey, like I think there was a men's group where you guys studied a book and you're like, hey, there's some good, but then you talked about there was other stuff where you're just like, this is like so fake. What, like in those moments of good, where exactly did that moment of like this is not for me. I am out. Where did that come? This moment of I am out.
Good question. I was listening to some podcasts, so that probably had something to do with
that's the death of everything.
Thinking, right.
You start listening to Joe Rogan, all of a sudden you want to run through a wall. I know.
But I really appreciate science, and I was reading a lot of science, listening to a lot of science stuff, and then I was just really trying to, I had there was a song. Shoot, what is that guy's name? That's going to bother me.
Oh,
I can't remember his name right now, but there's a part in the song where he says, curse your branches. And it's pretty much saying, Adam and Eve, because of that, whatever happened long, long ago, we're all screwed kind of a deal. And there was something about the song that really hit me it just doesn't make sense. It does not make sense to me. And the more I read, the more I love space and I love all that kind of stuff. I'm thinking, we're a blip in history, and I just think we're a continuation of life. Yeah.
What's weird though and this is a little bit of a challenge, like you love space, but like, don't you think someone had to do that? That's what I always say, like, or the body, how complicated it is and how it works all in sync.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It's incredible. How is it that no one had anything to do with that? I'm not challenging you. I'm just
I think you should.
That's how I go back, because I'm a lot where you're at as far as like this doesn't just make sense sometimes. But then I think to myself, there's no way that this just happened. Like, we're so complicated.
Right. And I, sometimes people will say, oh, you must think that all this came from nothing. And I don't think that either.
Right.
I think it probably came from a what though, not a who,
True.
Like, and of course we could say, well, who came up with God and all that stuff too. But
you can go round and round.
The answer is I don't know.
Right.
And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with not knowing that. I like the saying that you and the three of us here, we have a lot in common. We all don't believe in 10,000 other gods. I have one more that I don't believe in.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Well, and you're also still spiritual, right? From, or at least a year ago, you had all these like God means this, and you had all these
the acronym.
You had all of them. I remember listening back. I'm like, he's a teacher at heart. He has all these acronyms for everything. Is that still part of your journey where you feel like you're? I don't know what means spiritual, but that's part of it for you. Or?
I'm interested in faith traditions. Like I find it fascinating how people operate. There are some things certainly in the Bible that I'm like, wow, that's a powerful lesson. There's things in other faith traditions that I find the same thing.
Yeah.
So as far as spiritual, I think more, I don't know, just centeredness, how grounded I feel. But as far as like something that we can't see or supernatural, that's where I draw my line.
Okay. So that was about a year ago that I think on the podcast, like you had just told people publicly, and I'm not sure if it was your podcast that you came out.
I think it was more my podcast first, and then that's when I was invited on you guys.
Okay.
Probably.
You saying coming out, it just makes me think about.
Do you know what though? There is a parallel there for sure.
And there was also words that he had used, because I think for you it felt like you were hiding something.
Honestly, in the Christian church, you're probably better to come out as gay than not a Christian. Honestly, you'd probably be less judged nowadays.
Yeah, there's some truth to that for sure.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So I mean, so it's been a year. People have heard Threads. People have heard your podcast. I'm assuming you've talked to people. Has there been any fallout that's happened from friends or family who have?
Yeah, there's been a little bit. I think there was let me start with some of the good things that happened, I guess. First of all, that particular episode, I'm not talking about the ones that you and I did, but the one I did where I first disclosed it, I guess. That was a top 5, and there's been about 95 episodes. So I know a lot of people were attracted to it. And there were a lot of people who privately said, man, I sure appreciate you saying that. I thought I was the only one. I had a 22-year-old who reached out, and he's been kicked out of his family because of his doubts, and just kind of written off. And well, if you're not going to believe, you're out of the,
that's crazy to me.
So, I've connected to a lot of people through that episode. I'm glad about that. Now on the other good side too, people who don't agree with me necessarily, a couple of them invited me out for coffee, wanted to explore more. I appreciated that, because of course I thought, what would happen is you go in your brain, the worst first, what's going to happen. And were there some people that ghosted and haven't talked to me since? Yes. The thing I even said on the show where I'm like, I'm worried people aren't going to listen to the show anymore. That happened as well.
Oh, sure.
Right. Even though it was a top 5, right? But then there was a drop off. And when I asked a couple of my friends why, they said, well, one person in particular said, the way you made us look stupid. And I'm like, man, that's what I was trying not to do. I was trying to say, hey, this is how we feel as somebody on the outside in West Michigan. And so that's what I mean by that question of how do you appropriately challenge? How do you appropriately disclose? No wonder we're quiet, right?
Yeah.
So has there been some fallout? Yes. But not as bad as I thought it might have been.
What has been the best part of like saying, I'm not a follower of Jesus, I'm not a Christian? What has been the best part of for you of just coming clean with that and just being able to be yourself around people?
Have you heard of imposter syndrome? So that incongruence of here's who I am in public, here's who I am in private, and that can cause a lot of anxiety and stress. And so I know after it was kind of like an exhale of, okay, just put your cards on the table.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's probably a little bit of a relief.
It was. And the thing was, if I don't say anything, what happens, right?
Yeah.
People assume, and they give you a wink and, hey, God did this. And I've had people pray over me when I haven't asked them to. I've had people ask me to pray, but that's what happens though. If you don't say anything, you're kind of assumed as a part of the club.
I'm sure it hurt your feelings with those people that ghosted you and stuff like that, but screw them. I'm serious. Like, I mean, I know that's not the kindest thing to say, but you're really not going to be friends with somebody. Like you are you are like one of the kindest people I know. Like, I mean, I'm sure everyone's has, their times, but every interaction I've had with you is like super kind.
I appreciate
and chill. And so I'm like, how could you hate Joe just because he doesn't believe in God? Like, he's such a good person.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that, Jake.
Yeah, it's seriously.
Yeah, I'm there too. So this is what I don't. Christians piss me off, and I work at a church. But this is the crap that pisses me off because, like,
well, you're having to defend all the time in a way, right?
You know what? I've stopped trying to defend most of them.
Right.
You know what? They're on their own. No, but again, that's not the way of Jesus. So I'm talking about the best part, but like, what has been the most difficult part for you of coming out of I'm not following Jesus? What's been the most difficult part in this last year for you?
I'm not sure. I think it's
well, we kind of touched on some of that.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree that we've kind of mentioned it already. It was risky.
Yeah.
And I think people a lot of times are like, well, what's the big deal? But I really think there is it's just risky. It's risky to put yourself out there,
How do you not judge Mike as a pastor, Joe? I mean, you're a different breed. So just fast forward for Mike in 2 years, he's going to have his own church. I can guarantee it.
Right.
His pastor hopefully won't listen to this, his boss. But I mean, Mike's going to school to finish up to do the things that he wants to do. But seriously, do you judge people like that? Like, that's a weird thing to say. I put you guys on the spot right there.
See, and I wouldn't I actually listened to a lot of what you said, Joe, and I was like, I totally agree. Like,
well, it's concise. That's the best part about it. You can understand what he's saying.
I can understand what he's saying, and then even like some of the reasons where you're like, this doesn't seem real. Like, I'm in the same spot. So you talk about like when they're playing drums and the sticks would light up. Like,
the light up drumsticks.
I hate that shit because it starts to. It goes to me like, do we not believe it to be real? Like, are we
listeners? If we don't know what we're talking about, we're just kind of talking about the overproduced side of things sometimes,
like rock band church.
Yeah. Which I mean, and there's good, but there's also bad. So, anyways, when we connected with that, I'm like, I'm listening to that. I'm like, I totally agree. I don't know, mate. I don't know why. There's no judgment. There's just
I just wonder how you feel, because I'm kind of jiving with Joe. Like, I haven't been to church in a while. Like, the pandemic obviously slowed that down, and then since pandemic, other than working for the church in a volunteer role, and I'm not doing that anymore, we haven't gone to church. So I'm not where you're at 100%, but I am in the struggle bus.
Yeah, I mean,
and you're not.
I'm not in the struggle bus.
I don't think you are.
Oh, I mean, we
don't talk about it.
I think to be an authentic Christian, you do have struggles because, again, the things that you have to believe or do believe, there is some, like, I don't know, just like you don't know how it all became from a what. I don't know how it all became from a who. I just think that the evidence points more towards a who than a what to start it.
And I think a strong Christian like Mike will say, I don't know. He's not going to make up some bullshit. You know what I mean? Which I think a lot of religious leaders do, or they give everything happens for a reason crap too.
There's a good book out there called The Sin of Certainty.
Okay.
I would definitely recommend that. I think it's by a guy, I want to say Peter Rollins maybe, but it kind of talks about that.
Okay.
It's like, we're not supposed to be absolutely certain.
Well, I mean, otherwise
say it louder, right?
Yeah.
No.
Otherwise it's not faith. I mean,
Oh, that's a good point.
I mean, faith. I mean, because again, like at the heart of Christianity, I mean, there's a lot of things we believe that God created, that God started. I mean, there's all different debates of how that worked. We believe that God came in flesh somehow through the Holy Spirit and Mary. We believe that Jesus lived a sinless life and then died and rose. So, like, there's a lot of things that are leaps of logic.
Yeah.
But now I would push back to an atheist. They have just as many leaps of logic. At some point, so anyways, so it's not a judge. It's just going, I think we're both at different points of where that leap of logic is.
Yeah, the judge word was the wrong word to use.
No,
but I mean, I was trying to spark this conversation.
Yeah. No, but I think that's where Christians so much get it wrong, because they're like, no, this is the way it is. And it's like, It's not even necessarily what the Bible
Well,
says.
and from a science standpoint, like the scientific method, the science as a whole is self-correcting, meaning it's never right, quote unquote, right? It's constantly reevaluate, tweak it a little bit more. So, neither is absolutely certain. Do you know what I mean? Because we're working it out.
Yeah, and even, as I'm learning in Christianity too, there's, as we learn more about the Eastern view, as we've uncovered more documents that have existed even outside of Israel, our understanding of the Bible grows and changes. And so, yeah, I think those who say this is absolute 100% this, there's no chance, they're either like crazy or they're just making it up.
Well, go to the present. We can't argue. We can't agree with what happened 2 hours ago, let alone 2,000 years ago.
Oh yeah,
that's what I mean. So how can you be certain?
And I want to clarify, if you do believe that hardcore, I am not judging you. I don't know about anyone else, but I just say it's fine to believe that if you want to believe that, but just be open to not judge other people if they don't. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to offend people that are really strong in the faith, saying like you kind of said they were crazy if they believe that way, but I mean, it's just a different religion. If you're a Buddhist or whatever, like I'm fine with that. I'm fine with you doing that. Just don't judge me for not doing it. Yeah. That's all I'm saying.
And what I'm saying it's crazy is to say that's 100% certain. I think there's nothing in life that's 100% certain.
No, but I bet there's a lot of people, not just in the Christian faith, that believe their God and that is 100% certain.
Which just probably caused a lot of our issues in our whole world. Is people like, I'm 100% right. Just always be open to that. You may be wrong. I think that's where growth comes from.
Sure.
So you had talked about last time that you are in an interfaith marriage.
Mm-hmm.
How has that gone, again, since you've come out of, I'm not a Christian, but are you still going to church with her?
So Judy still considers herself Christian. She's not been really attending Christian church, but we go to All Souls Unitarian Universalist. I go a lot by myself, and then sometimes she joins me and Danny joins me, so and she'd like to go more, actually, is what I asked her. I said, hey, I'm anticipating they're going to ask this question. We're good, right?
Yeah.
And I remember last time I was like, I think she's all right, but she is. She's
Smart
good
husband.
with it. And we're in a really good spot in terms of our honesty, and just, we know who each other are, and just so appreciative of her.
Yeah. Well, I could tell in a little bit of time that I was over at your house and Judy was there and you guys were just talking like that. Seems like you guys have a solid marriage and just vibing, right? You can just catch that vibe really quick on people. And it's like, no, you guys are vibing good. So
yeah, I would agree with that.
So for her, the church is not necessarily her choice of church. It's more your choice then?
I would probably.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm the one who shopped a lot, you know what I mean? And then I settled there.
Okay.
So I think she's kind of waiting for what I was going to decide, I guess, but she's done a few things there at All Souls now too. So she's sung a few times and has helped out in different ways. So
So we're going a little bit off script, but you can tell me if it's too far. But how is Danny dealing with all of this, right? Because this is during his high school years, right? Their formative years.
Honestly,
and they've been crazy.
He's working at Meyer on Sundays.
There you go.
Oh, how dare you?
I have tried to bring him. I've tried to I've asked if he wants to be a part of their youth group, and he's just not super interested in it, and I'm not going to push it on him.
Yeah, of course not.
There are times when he and I will talk a little bit, and he kind of shrugs his shoulders a bit, like, I'm not sure what's going on, but he's also not like, oh, I wonder.
Yeah.
He's not. At least I don't think he's having an angst about it like I did.
Growing up, I mean, I had a slew of problems, obviously, but one of the things is we were forced to go to church and all that stuff. Right. And then the second I moved out of the house, I stopped going for like 4 or 5 years and then came back. So it's like, it's tough though, because you want to instill the values that you think. Like, I think that my daughter should have good work ethic and teach her the value of money. So you're in this weird position where you're like, well, I believe in Jesus Christ and God. I think you should go to church. But then look at me. Maybe it was the hypocritical because I was abused and then we were still going to church. I don't know. Maybe that's what it was. But
everything is awesome. Nothing happened 10 minutes ago.
Right. You just didn't get screamed at. Yeah. So, but I'm in a kind of a position with Avery too. She goes to Young Life and, she likes it, but I don't know how much she's getting out of it. I don't know. I just feel weird pressuring my kids to religion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But was church something that Danny grew up with, you guys going, or was it kind of hit and miss when he was a child?
We did grow up going. After our adoption, for years we went.
Yeah.
Yeah. And and that was another part that I was like, is he learning anything or is he just playing video games? Because they make it very attractive of, we're going to play a lot of games. We're going to do a lot of this.
Oh, for the youth group?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And I know they did some cool stuff too. I know that because I was able to volunteer a few times and see what they do. So I know it's not just,
of course,
but at the same time, I don't know. I didn't feel like we really sunk in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So was it something that never really captured him?
No, I would say that no on that. Okay. And then I know his, in on our birth family side of things, I know that, birth grandmas will be who they are. Right. And teach a little bit about that. So I'm okay with that, but
yeah,
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
As long as we have an open conversation.
Yeah. And lines aren't crossed.
Correct.
In an inappropriate
Correct.
way.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
So I think the year has been hard for everyone, but especially you, right? There's just new things you're navigating. How has this impacted your mental health in this past year as you, telling people, hey, I'm not a Christian, as you're figuring out lost friendships? How has that impacted that?
I appreciate you asking this, and I know I suggested it.
No, we appreciate input.
Because we're changing gears here. We're pivoting.
We're pivoting.
But and it's not even necessarily to do with the spiritual side of things, but I just want to thank you guys for being so open about mental health, because I've been kind of in a low spot over the past probably 6 months. And so it shows up in terms of like just not wanting to get up and go.
Yeah.
I still do, but I don't want to.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's that sadness there, and then the anxiety as well. So I'm definitely dealing with both. But you'll be proud of me. You'll be proud of me. I'm seeing a therapist.
Are you?
Yes.
Nice.
We got to say it, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
But it's been many years since that's happened. So, I'm taking the appropriate steps.
And is this a newfound thing with your therapist? Like you're just starting again, or?
Yeah, just starting again.
Okay. Same one from years ago?
No.
Okay.
No, actually a new one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Male or female?
Male.
I like female therapists.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
No.
I don't like male therapists.
I think
both.
it's weird. I do. Like, I don't know. There's something about like a guy that I would, which is maybe it's weird. I'm saying that, but like I'd rather share my life and have it be a guy.
So interesting enough, in this, you'll probably change your tune when I say this. I never had a female role model in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Like my first wife was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Most of my girlfriends out of high school were terrible. My mother was terrible. So
yeah.
I think I'm drawn to connect better with women, which sounds so weird, but I don't like guy therapists.
Huh.
I don't know what it is. I always feel like they're judging me, and it's a dick measuring contest. And
really?
It would take me a lot longer to open up to a male therapist than like I would like, look at this dude. Like in my head, you know what I mean? But
so I almost want you to talk to your therapist about this. So she could say why. Yeah. I mean, you don't need to. I'm just actually completely curious.
This I mean, I've never really said it out loud. This is the first time, but I probably should. But
like, hey, so
you got another thing on the agenda,
right? With a bunch of other things. So good. It's a male therapist, and you guys are jiving
so far. Yep.
Yeah, like we always said, if you don't jive, it's okay to don't get
that in mind. Yeah,
don't get too far in though, because then what will happen is you'll bounce from that one, and then you won't go to another one because you spent all this time telling your story. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so you don't want to restart.
Yeah,
the whole story again.
Yeah, it's like work. You know what I'm
is.
saying?
But, yeah, I think that'd be the hardest part.
Yeah.
of like having to retell all of your shit of your life.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I tell people don't get in too deep. If you're not jiving after 4 or 5, like it's just say no.
So you think it takes that long? We're totally going off to the side.
That's fine.
Like I said, if it was a male, it would probably take that long for me.
Oh, okay.
But I think it does.
See, for me, like after so I ended up for my commissioning, I had to make sure I wasn't crazy. And like the guy was nice, and so if he listens, you're a nice guy. But like I didn't jive with him. I'm like, I actually knew that after the first time. I'm like, if this was an ongoing more than you just need to like check boxes, I wouldn't go.
You'd be the one checking your watch instead of him.
I kind of was. I was like,
but you were in there for a different purpose. I think if you went in there seeking help for whatever such and such, you might.
I know my first person was such a good match. Like I'm like, you're not him. So anyway,
I don't think I could judge at one. I would definitely need at least 3 or 4.
Your spidey senses.
You know what's interesting is that even though I didn't necessarily go there because of the faith stuff that we've been talking about, I did check his profile, and in there was something like faith transitions or something. I was like,
well,
there's a check.
Well, that's probably becoming more and more common though. Like faith transition.
I knew I wanted more of a secular, not a
So I mean, you talked about this sadness. Do you have any idea of what the cause is, or is that what going to the therapist is about?
What, the anxiety thing?
Yeah, cause you said, there's sadness and anxiety.
I'm not sure. I guess I gotta kind of figure that out.
Which is
it's frustrating when you don't know.
Yeah, there's a few triggers, I guess I would think, and one is it's been a really, really busy season at work, and so it's learning how to protect,
your free time.
Exactly. So there's that. And in fact, I'm taking another page from your book. I'm going to be pausing the podcast for a short time, doing some, when you have 95 episodes straight,
dude,
I'm like, I need to pause.
Pause after 100 though, bro. Don't pause before 95.
No, I know, but with the season coming up at work, we got a really busy summer.
Oh no.
And so I'm like, you know what? There's quite a few old episodes that a lot of new listeners have never heard.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
So I'm gonna I'll be announcing that a little bit.
That's good.
So I'll take a pause. That'll help. But back to the question of anxiety.
Yeah.
I think it's just, a little bit of a burnout.
Yeah.
And just trying to do it all.
Yeah.
That's one reason.
It's so hard, right? Especially like, you're training, you're exercising, then you're working, and then you have a wife and a child, and then you have friends, and it's just like, where do you fit it all in?
Right.
It's tough.
And then you go and grab something more to eat.
Yes. Oh gosh.
So I was going a lot lately.
Were you?
Oh yeah. I'm like, I was just here at the cupboard. What am I doing back here?
I started intermittent fasting like a month ago, and it's keeping me like right now. I'd really want to have a beer, but like I stopped eating at 6, and it's worked. It's discipline.
Well, speaking of that, I'm actually taking a break from alcohol as well.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was finding it. At least I'm taking a break for now.
Yeah.
I was just finding it a little bit too convenient to take the edge off.
It does take the edge off.
It does, but if you're dealing with anxiety, from what I understand from my therapist, that you're really kind of delaying it, and then it ramps up even more, kind of a thing. So I'm like, you know what, this is probably a good time. So it's been a couple weeks that I've been off of that, and my wife again is an inspiration there. She's like 250 something days without. So
oh wow,
yeah, I'm very proud of her.
She was just trying to take a break from that.
I won't speak to her, but I'm on the why and all that. But I know she's okay with me sharing that part, though. That for her, she just has to
take a break.
Yeah,
yep, that's fair. Yeah. I mean, I think that's a good like habit in life. Like, see if you can live without something for a little bit.
Yeah.
If you can't, probably means you're relying on it too much.
Yeah. So, I'm optimistic for the future, I guess. But it's been a rough few months.
Yeah.
And another, I guess, sometimes you guys ask, how are you showing up today?
Mm-hmm.
Right. My son lost his band director. He passed over the weekend.
Oh, just recently.
This guy is 30 years old.
Oh no.
And he just directed his last show a couple weeks ago. So it was that's kind of fresh in my mind.
Ooh.
I know a lot of my friends are, not that I knew him personally,
right? Of
very
course.
closely. Other than that, he's had a great impact on my son for the last 3 years. But stuff like that. There's been a lot of personal loss to a lot of my close friends lately, and that's kind of weighing on me as well. Yeah.
When you seem, the more I get to know you, you seem like somebody who carries that with people. Yeah, and so that's wearing a lot too. And I wonder too if, like, as you know, like, you wore that mask for so many years, right? If it's finally off and now your body's like catching up with it, right? Like, I think of training, right? Like, you don't feel the effects of training until you're done with the half marathon or whatever, and then you're like, ugh. So
yeah,
man.
And they do say, and I don't know, I think that was the running thing that you did said. Speaking of training, it takes like 2 weeks after a workout to reap the benefits from it. So that's what he was talking about, tapering that last 2 weeks before a race, how it is important, and nothing you're going to do is going to help you in the run anyway. So
it might hurt it. Actually.
It might hurt it. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. So taking this break mentally, and that's.
And if you do, when you do take a break on the podcast, don't be like me and still create content.
Oh, that was so stupid.
After our break, I told Mike, I'm like, all right, our next season break, I'm literally doing nothing. I am not like, it wasn't a break.
Well, first I was kind of like, am I doing the right thing? Because this is a source of joy.
Yeah.
Is this another, I'm, taking things away that bring me joy? That's not good.
No.
But I don't really see it that way. I see it as I need to just peel back and simplify for a little bit. That's it.
Yeah.
And I'm thankfully in this tough season, I haven't stopped exercising. So that's good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that's so huge, right? Is getting your body and the endorphins, and even just that time to get your brain back, and thinking through things. So
yeah.
That's huge.
Well, I'm sorry you're going through that. I appreciate you talking to us about it. And we're always, we're always open to chat or send me a message, whatever.
Thanks, man. I think I'll just one more thing on that. And I know I've talked about it even on my podcast before. It's so funny how we'll I've talked about social media.
Yeah.
And I call it social mania.
Oh, yeah.
And
social shit.
So have you ever heard of the musical or the book Dear Evan Hansen?
Oh gosh, yes. My wife loves that musical.
So we just saw it, and there's a song on there called Waving Through the Window, and it says, I'm waving. Can anybody see? Is anybody waving back at me? So if you picture you're in a train or something and you're waving at people, but it's going by so fast, right? And there was something about that where I'm like, well, dang it, that's probably what's adding on to my anxiety too. Not that I'm like, oh, I need a kudos, or it's not that. But when you're in the world like we are of podcasting, etc., and you're kind of dependent on, is it landing? Is it right,
dude?
So that's
hard.
The other part where I'm like, I need a break from that. I need a break. So I think that's all of that in the next couple months. I'm just going to step away for a little bit and then I'm going to come back.
Yeah. It's all good. I mean, the worst thing you ever gave me was our Buzzsprout password, and I can watch it and I hit refresh, especially when it launches. Like, why am I doing this to my own mental health?
It's funny you brought that up. I deleted. I had a saved on my iPhone, because they don't have an app, but I saved whatever I bookmarked the website. And then I deleted that about a month ago.
Yeah.
And I literally tonight was the first time I checked it in like 2 weeks.
Isn't it so much better for your own mental health?
Yeah. I mean, I saw the numbers and I was like, all right, whatever.
But when you're not looking at it every day, right?
I was every day looking at it, and I'm like, okay, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Start to go too much. So moving forward, what are some ways that you want to grow in this next year? Like, where is Joe gonna be in a year from now?
No.
So when we bring you back on in a year, you could say, hey, I was aiming
healthier,
for this. Yeah.
Better habits.
Yeah.
Boundaries on social media, etc.
Oh, I thought it was gonna be other.
Oh, maybe relationships too.
Those are hard as hell, bro. Let me tell you.
If you ever want advice,
well,
just ask him.
one thing that I kind of realized, talking with my therapist, is that I know a lot of people, but how many close friends do I have?
Yeah.
And I would say I have a very close friend in Texas. I have another close friend in California, right? And I do have some like high school buddies.
Okay.
But I haven't hung out with them in a long time. And I was like, man, that might be a real missing component right now. And that's another area. So a year from now, I hope that I've developed some better, closer relationships. I think of Joseph Reed.
Yeah.
Right. And his book, Broken Like Me. And he talks about, I think that's one of the last tools in the book is friendships and how important that is for anyone's mental health. And I'm like, well, shoot.
Yeah. Do you
for
think
a guy who knows a lot and talks a lot about relationships?
Yeah.
Maybe I should be like, walking the talk.
But then I think it falls into your busyness.
Maybe
you're not you mentally don't have room for that. You're probably pining for it now that you're talking about and thinking about it now. But I mean, you got to cut some shit out. Like
true. Or instead of it being shallow across many people,
how
about deep with just a few?
Yeah.
So what he's saying, Jason, is he's going to talk to you less.
Well, we don't talk a ton now anyways, and I actually feel guilty about it as he's in a low spot. I'm like,
I need a friend.
What a jerk
I feel bad too. But again, I think
no,
but I think that's that illusion that I don't think you try to put off, but because you're a friendly person and a kind person,
right?
Oh, people think, Joe has plenty of friends. Like he's good. Like, I mean, honestly, like if I'm looking at myself, like I don't think about texting you because I'm like, Joe's busy. He has lots of friends. He's good.
Right.
Bro's always smiling.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
Well, hey, there you go. Right. I'm sure Robin Williams had a lot of friends too.
Don't say that.
Oh,
come on.
Joseph Pellerito.
I actually did not mean that as a joke. I really didn't. I meant
well,
that
you smiled when you said it.
You always smile.
I meant that as a picture of somebody who smiles, makes a lot of people laugh, right? And yet was tortured on the inside somehow, right?
Yeah.
So I just think it's a good reminder, I'm going to go back to social media again, where you have this image of friendships.
Yeah.
And do you really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder too, you talk about boundaries because so go back to alcohol, right? In alcohol, you're trying to numb something,
right?
I mean, often, not always, but a lot of times you're trying to numb something. But I wonder if, like with Facebook, if we fake ourselves that we have the friends, right? Like I probably do that to myself.
Yeah.
I should probably fake myself that I'm friends, but am I? Or should I text this dude more than scroll Facebook and be like,
I think that's a great. Hey, I feel it's kind of like distraction, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to feel this, so I'm going to get distracted and do something else. And that certainly can ramp up anxiety when you're not having margin.
And you also know that you're not close.
I think there's a lot of truth to what you just said. And even, me exercising is a great thing, right? And in some ways, I think some people can form an addiction to, I'm just going to go run. I'm going to go bike. I'm going to go lift. I'm going to do it all by myself.
Right.
Yeah. Right. But at least I'm working on something.
Yeah.
No, with Mike and I, he decided he got the opportunity for Israel, so he didn't train for Riverbank. And I felt all alone. Like, even though we never ran together, we couldn't connect like with the workouts because like he was doing something else. And so it's isolating and it can be.
So the original question was, Joe, where do you see yourself?
I don't know. I forgot to.
I see myself simplified and deeper relationship and maybe not just caring so much about things I don't need to care about.
Yeah. That's such a good thing, right? That's the getting real. Are there any acronyms that you're going to try to live out? I have to ask because you had so many last time.
I did.
There's like 5 or 6.
I don't think I have any new ones, but for the people who didn't hear it last time, I'll go through them very briefly because here's something I want in a year. I want my first tattoo.
Ooh, let's go.
Oh.
And I want it to be on my shoulder. I want this like really cool turtle shell. Okay. It's got to be a cool, not a cartoony, right?
Okay.
But on those shell pieces will be these letters. Okay.
Oh.
So God, God, right, is an acronym.
Okay.
And AWE. So God and awe. And G is gratefulness for what I've been through, for the future, for what I have. Optimism would be for the future. And that is a choice sometimes because it's hard to be sometimes. The determination to be more curious, to say things I got to say, to get things done. A is for adventure. And man, there's been a lot of things that I didn't think I would do, but when I said yes, I'm so glad I did, even though it was wacky or whatever, right? Because that's kind of like where the good stuff is to risk a little bit.
So it kind of sounds like you want to do the Tough Mudder with us on June 19th.
What do I got going on? I've got
or June 18th.
Yeah, it's actually Father's Day.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't do the Tough Mudder, but I'll be doing an Olympic triathlon right around then. Though.
I was trying to have you do something that was a little crazy.
However, let's talk, because I would love to do something like that.
It's pretty incredible.
Yes. W was world, meaning it's a lot bigger than just the way we do things and just being curious about how others do it. And finally, E is empathy. Right. So that's maybe I'll have a tattoo in a year. Yeah. But those are my personal acronyms.
So we're gonna find out where Jason goes, because I actually want one on my forearm.
Yeah, my guy won't message me back. He's so backed up. But,
oh no.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
I got stuff he's got to finish and add and all that.
Okay, I won't use Jason's guy.
Well, he's got his whole studio. It's just he's the best.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, well, you don't want to go to the worst.
Well, I'm not saying people in his studio I don't know them.
Yeah.
I go where I'm comfortable.
Well,
and I will wait until.
Yeah. Hey, what's the worst tattoo you've ever seen?
I have a bad tattoo.
You do?
I don't like it.
Show us
this one.
Oh, that is pretty bad.
Wrong with that.
As I took my shirt off at the 10-mile marker because it was so hot, and I had this tattoo, and I'm walking and then running and walking and running. I'm like,
I'm Superman.
I hope no one
the
sees
Superman
this.
Symbol, y'all.
But no, I think those are good goals. And I think a nice tattoo, that'd be pretty sweet. And the turtles, is it because you're coming out of your shell, or
sort of? Yeah, I mean, tough turtle shell, right? Tough, but also, I'm not like the triathlons, for example, running.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not fast.
No,
you're faster than me,
but I get it done.
Yeah.
And so, turtles are swimming and walking, and I don't know. I think turtles are cool.
What is Mike then? If he's a turtle, what in the world am I?
I'm not gonna say.
Man,
I don't want to offend you.
Hey, no, offend me.
Let's go. We're doing you gave me this broken up ass shit. I don't want this. I mean, I'll eat it, but that's bad luck. Give me a non-broken one.
Maybe they're all broken. I mean,
no, they're not.
They are from a fake Chinese place.
So we have some Panda Express fortune cookies in front of us, and so, yeah.
I know everyone.
We're gonna go ahead and
we're gonna end
with a game, right? End with a game here. So wait, you get to go first, Jason. Yeah, because you won the game.
Boom. All right. What is your fortune for this next year?
Let's do it this week.
No, the year, because we're gonna have him on again in a year.
You're gonna laugh. Your kindness will help brighten a dark room.
Nice.
In bed.
In bed?
Yeah, you're supposed to do that. You've never heard that? You're supposed to do that with fortune cookies, or over the head. So, never mind.
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay.
Go ahead.
While you're opening.
Yummy.
Your clever mind will lead you to many rewards in bed.
All right. Very nice. Yummy. Okay, here we go. All right. This is hilarious beginning here. A wink and a smile will brighten someone's day.
In bed.
Judy,
no.
Your day's gonna be brightened.
A wink and a smile. That's hilarious.
Joe's gonna try that when he goes home.
Well, hey, I'm a little worried though, because I think the Bible, what do they say about fortune tellers?
I don't know. Ask Mike.
They're amazing. No, I'm just messing.
Or, I guess it's not us. It would be Panda Express that's in trouble.
Right.
All right.
We're just eating their fruits of their labor. Anyways. So any final thoughts? If not, where can they find your podcast, Joe? As you just put a fortune in your mouth.
Well, I'll do a final thought. Joe, it's been awesome hanging with you again. We're gonna have to make this more often than just a mic in front of our face, I think. So
yeah, I appreciate it. And those who are interested in the Rechoice podcast, RECHOICE, the idea, each episode starts with RE. So it might be like redefine or retaliate or reinvent or
rebirth
or reframe.
Are you running out of rewords?
There's been a few that have been doubled and tripled.
Okay. I was going to say.
A lot of people really research. A lot of them research because they want to pick a really unique one. And
okay.
But it has been a really cool journey. Like these 95 episodes, all these guests I've learned so much from.
Yeah.
And our next one, let's see, this comes out Friday, right?
Yep.
So that Saturday, our next episode comes out with a guy named Matt McKellar, and his word is re-envision.
Okay.
This guy used to be a pastor, a drug counselor, a librarian, a janitor, a security guard. I don't know about janitor, actually, security guard. And now, as of December, he's an over-the-road trucker.
What?
So
that's a jump.
Yeah. So it's a very interesting episode on what caused him to make all those changes.
Huh.
And that's just a flavor of the podcast. So thanks for letting me put a plug out there.
Yeah, for sure. As always, for us, you can join our Facebook group. Mike's supposed to chat in there. He doesn't. He hates everyone. You can go to facebook.com, search Threads Podcast Community. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Sign up for our newsletter, exclusive content, and it's free, of course. And then we are going to launch a Patreon page at some point this month. We were going to video tonight, but Mike sounds bad and doesn't want to use it.
Terrible.
I even downloaded a teleprompter app so we didn't have to memorize our lines.
I so would have read that like Ron Burgundy. I would have fake read that for you.
You would have?
Yeah.
That would actually have been good for me.
People would have been like, what in the world?
So yeah, we're going to launch that sometime this month with some good perks and all that fun stuff. And as always, guys, keep the faith, do your work, and live life unfiltered.
See ya.
Peace. Bye.